Welcome back to Motivate Her. We all know me, I'm Jessie. I hope you guys enjoy listening to this podcast as much as I enjoy making it. I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. I'm learning as I go on this journey. I'm not trying to be, the biggest and the best podcast. I'm just trying to motivate and inspire anyone who might need it, uplift and promote positivity, especially in the community of women that I have around me, like every day on the daily basis, but even to the ones that I've yet to meet. And, I just want to promote positivity. I love creating this podcast. It makes me so happy. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so, so much for listening. You guys are awesome. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about women's healthcare. This whole subject stays on my mind all the time, but recently, you guys might recall when I had Teresa on my show a few weeks back, one of my dear friends. Hopefully I can have her back to discuss this topic maybe soon. I'm not sure. She stays busy, but because this is probably going to turn into an ongoing table talk series, because it's more serious than that. I mean, I would love to have some doctors who are experts in the field that could maybe provide more insight than what's already out there, if that's even possible. But it's scary when you start studying the facts around the minimal knowledge doctors and even scientists still have, or I guess don't have, regarding the female body, and how much the hormones and just everything affect everything we do. So before I get too deep into this, make sure you guys are following the podcast at Motivate Her, spelled with a 0. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course YouTube. So I just want to share some of the information that I've found so far with you guys, because it's pretty scary and fucked up. So let's jump in, shall we? So I'm just going to basically read some scary highlighted facts that I found. And again, guys, this is just the beginning. This is another nice, short, sweet episode, but there's so much more to come on this topic, because what the actual women and girls account for 50% of the population, obviously, but yet most of the health and physiological research is done on just males. I know, that makes sense. So this is especially true for fundamental research, which builds knowledge but doesn't have an application yet, and preclinical animal research. These types of research often only focus on male humans, animals, and even cells. So why do so many scientists seem oblivious to the existence of half the world's population? Firstly, it's important to understand key terminology in society and research. As referred to throughout this article, male and female are categories of sex defined by a set of biological attributes associated with physical and physiological characteristics. So here we discuss research on specific sexes, but further consideration of gender diverse groups, such as transgender people, also remains a gap in science. So why aren't females studied? The main reasoning is that females are more complicated of a model organism than males. The physiological changes associated with the menstrual cycle add a whole lot of complexities when it comes to understanding how the body may respond to an external stimulus, such as taking a drug or performing a specific type of exercise. Some females use contraception, and those who do use different types, this adds to the variability between them, which is why it's probably more important to have it studied. Females also undergo menopause around the age of 50, another physiological change that fundamentally impacts the way the body functions and adapts. Even when research with females is performed properly, the findings may not all apply to females. Altogether, this makes female research more time-consuming and expensive. I'm going to say that one more time. It says, altogether, this makes female research more time-consuming and expensive, and research is nearly always limited by time and money. So does it really matter? That's my thought. Does it really matter? Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. Because males and females are physically different. We're different species. Just because we're both human species, obviously, but so I just, and again, this is just like the beginning. And I know this is not new news. You guys have probably seen videos like this all over TikTok and Instagram. As you should, because these women are probably like me and like, what the hell? Like, I've been taking medication that really wasn't even studied, and I mean, technically studied medically, scientifically, made to be given for me, because all they've been studying is a man's body. So how do we know that it's safe that I take this medication? They don't. They don't. And it's just like, and again, I mean, I'm still here. I'm still alive, so obviously it's whatever, but I'm also very very weary of the medical and just the whole, I don't want to say medical field, but I'm not somebody that will go to a doctor and take a diagnosis and just take it and run with it. If I don't, I know my body better than any doctor, and I'm really good at listening to my body. I may not be able to tell you what's wrong with my body, but I listen to it, if that makes sense. If something doesn't feel right, or if I don't feel good, or what have you. Um, Doctors can't, they're not us, so they don't know that. So I'm definitely not somebody, and this is not a diss towards doctors. I have the utmost respect for doctors, especially the ones that work tirelessly and endlessly trying to study research like this, because they want to provide solutions. They're the doctors that actually care for their patients. I know COVID just fucked up so many doctors and nurses, just because, I know a lot of doctors and nurses that tapped out after that. No shade. I can't even imagine how hard it is being in the medical field. But we have got to do better. Like, it's just like, that's just not okay at all. So, like I said, there will be many more topics and discussions on this. If you are someone who has experienced something in any way, shape, or form, had a bad experience, or going through something similar that has to do with any of this, I want to hear from you. Leave your questions and comments on this episode. Reach out to me on social media. Like, I am so serious. Let's talk about this, because it's got to get better.